up? Welcome to Chelsea D. Adams, my page. My name is Chelsea. I'm the owner of Zion Studios Co., a digital multimedia company, and we specialize in providing digital entertainment as well as assisting creatives in building their faith and their craft. So I want to welcome you to my live as well as the replay if you're watching the replay. Make sure, if you have not yet, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much to our 200 plus subscribers. I'm super excited to have you all along with me on this journey and to be able to help you grow in your faith and in your craft as creatives and as individuals. So yeah, super excited about that. As you guys know, we are in a series right now called the Content Creation Convos series, where we just have conversations about content creation, ways to grow in your content creation skills, especially for those of you who may be new to the content creation space. You're wanting to make it a side business or a side hustle, and you just want to grow your skills and learn more about this industry, or you just want to improve what you already know, then this conversation is for you. So go ahead and send this link to 5 to 10 people in your DMs right now. Now, why do I say your DMs? Because that's typically where your conversations are popping, because nobody's really hitting you up on your phone, right? They're going to be in your DMs. So definitely send this link to 5 to 10 people that are in your DMs right now, even if you have not talked to them, right? They could have just liked your story, whatever the case may be. Send it to them, send them this video, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I have my notes. Y'all know I always bring my notes. Please don't mind my hair. So I took my braids out. If y'all know, y'all been following my page, I had my braids in. And you know how you cut the braids to, like, obviously take them out, because you know you don't, who wants to take down an entire braid, right? Especially individuals. Mine were like waist length too, so I cut them, but when I got to like this part, I cut it too short, and so I ended up cutting a part of my hair. And I was so, y'all, I was so, like, I became one of those people that was just like, oh my goodness, like, what? Like, I cut my hair, like, huh? So yeah, I became one of those people. So if you notice, like, this side, and this has nothing to do with tonight, but since we here, uh obviously this side, y'all see how long this side is, right? It's palm, it's amazing, it's cute, it's giving, right? This side, baby, look at this. Y'all, look at this. Like, this has absolutely nothing to do with tonight's live, but since we're here, like, y'all see this? So that's why my hair looks so crazy, but it's okay because I'm getting a new hairstyle soon. So we just go, you know what I'm saying? We just kind of, I guess, make it look even. I don't know. So yeah. Let's see. I want to make sure. Live chat. All right. Let me know if you guys are able to hear me and see me. I think I have the chat on. Okay. So yeah, just let me know if you guys can hear me and see me. If not, let me know. But yeah, so tonight we're talking about how to make your graphics like a pro. All right. Now let me pull up something here behind me just to make sure. Let's see. Sure. Okay, perfect. So just want to make sure that the sound and stuff was really good. All right, so we're talking about how to make your graphics like a pro. Okay. Um, Let me start off with like my experience in this, and let me take my shoes off because you know we having a conversation, so we about to get into it. So yeah, we just gonna get real comfortable. All right, so come on in. All right. So yeah, so back in college, for those of you who didn't know, before I owned a media company, I did marketing in college. Now, I didn't go to school for that. I actually got my bachelor's in religious studies with a minor in nonprofit leadership. However, I did take marketing like as an extracurricular activity. I was a part of a program called Spotlight, which we held live events on campus. We held some of the major, like the most popular on-campus events during that time. We had people like Trey Songz, Lil Wayne, tons of celebrities that would come and perform every year for our spring concert. But we also had monthly and weekly events that we held on campus as well. So we did campus wide events. So I was a part of the marketing committee for that organization. And in my role, we had to create the flyers that would go out to the students. We also created the online flyers that would be used for social media, manage social media accounts, all of that good stuff. And so, in my experience in that, I learned, how to pay attention to the colors, how to, pay attention to sizing, how to pay attention to what colors worked well together, what colors did not work well together, fonts, right? All of those things are important, right? I learned how to add pictures in Photoshop. I learned how to, change the format of the graphic, right? Depending upon if it was going to be an A5 size flyer, or if it was going to be an Instagram post size, if it was going to be something used for our YouTube channel, all of those different dimensions. I learned that all in college. And so it was a really great experience. Absolutely loved it. And so obviously I carried that with me even into business. And then I began to make graphics for other people. So my first business that I started after college was a like virtual assistant type business. And so in that, I assisted other business owners or entrepreneurs in their day-to-day functions as a business owner. So I would come in and assist them with, maybe answering emails, or I would assist them in managing their social media accounts, things like that. And so, yeah, when I began to create graphics, I found so much fun in it. I love like playing around with the colors. If you guys tuned into last night's live, I talked about, what did I talk about? 3 ways to upgrade your video editing. And one of the things that I mentioned was, just playing around with your creativity, taking your time, not feeling rushed, right? And so when it comes to creating your graphics, you always want to enjoy it. You want to have fun. That's the point about being a creative, being in a creative space is meant to be fun. It's not meant to be tedious. It's not meant to be overbearing. It's not meant to be frustrating. Though there are times when it can get frustrating, I use those moments as a means to kind of take a step back from my creativity for the moment, and go do something else and then come back to it, right? Which we'll get into that a little bit later. But in that, when working with other entrepreneurs, I began to just have fun with creating the graphics. I would get in environments that were very engaging or inspirational to me, and that helped me to be able to come up with new ideas, right? And so, one of my most recent experiences with creating graphics, I shared on our Instagram page today, which, if you guys aren't following us on Instagram, the Instagram page is at Zion Studios. That is ZYON Studios. Zion is spelled with a Y. Let me see. Okay, never mind. So yeah, at Zion Studios on Instagram, I shared on our Instagram page today how I took a step back from taking on new clients for the past 2 years, honestly. Not necessarily intentionally, but just because I was frustrated in business, wasn't seeing a lot of progress. Also, I was being very lazy as an entrepreneur. Just my truth. And so, yeah, I took a step back from taking on new clients. But more recently, I just took on a client maybe about a month ago who needed some graphic work done. They have a organization here where I live, where they go out and they spread the message of Jesus to young people, right? And so they needed a flyer to go out and pass to families and teens and children about their event, right? And so I created a graphic flyer for them. Now, this is what I wanted to share about this is that I made $200 just from making this flyer, this one flyer, right? I made $200 for this flyer, and I used the free version of Canva to make it. Okay. So just right off the bat, my first tip is you don't need fancy software to begin with. Okay. I meet a lot of people who feel like they have to have these big, expensive softwares, these big, expensive cameras, these big, expensive whatever, right, to get started. When you get started, you only need what you have, right? Now, if you don't have anything, okay, we could have another conversation, right? But for many of us, we have a laptop, we have a cell phone, right? Obviously, you do if you're watching me right now, okay? So you have a laptop, you have a cell phone, you have your mind, right? You have your good mind, okay? And that's it. That's it. If you have internet, even if you don't have internet service, right? You can go to a public place and use their Wi-Fi. You can go to a hotel lobby, you can go to a McDonald's. Literally, there's no excuse, okay? You can use what you have to begin with. Okay, especially if you're a business owner and you're learning how to make your own content and your own graphics. Okay, so first, use what you have. So the free version of Canva, the paid version is $12.95 a month. I now use the paid version of Canva because I use Canva so much in my business. But when I did this project, I was using the free version of Canva, okay? And all I needed to do was upload the image that they had sent from a previous flyer that they had. So they gave me like a picture of what they had used before, and they wanted something similar, but they wanted me to add my personal touches to it, okay? So I uploaded the image to Canva, right? And then I set the dimensions. So the dimensions that they wanted was like an A5 size flyer. And we can get into that, in another time about the different dimensions. But an A5 size flyer is probably like maybe this high, right? It's something that you are maybe going to post up on a wall or post up, on a tree or something like that. It's like one of those type of flyers. And so that those dimensions I was able to Google and put them in, because on Canva you can create your design and you can put in the specific dimensions that you want for your graphic. Okay. And so it's important that you know the dimensions of what you want. And you can also put in Canva, say you want an Instagram post or you want a banner, right? You can put that in and they have those dimensions and you can create it like that as well too. All right. And so use a free version of Canva to make that flyer, played around with the colors. I love learning. So I am a nerd, if you will. And I love all things techie, all things like analytical, all things like behind the scenes, like computer, all of that type of stuff, right? So like hex codes. Oh baby, that is my thing, okay? So a hex code, you've probably seen it's like a pound sign and then it's HEX, right? A hex code is pretty much just a code that is used to depict a color, right? So if you have the color red, it has a particular hex code, okay? It's similar to RGB, right? If you grew up back in the day, I don't know if they still do this today, but back in the day, with your color, the color wheel, right? You had Roy G. Biv, we used to call it, right? So like red, green, blue, like the primary colors, right? So you have your primary colors, but then you have your different hues of those primary colors, right? So that's like your pastels and all of those things, right? Or your indigos and different colors like that, right? So all of that's part of your color wheel. And so your hex code is just the numerical code attached to that particular color. So for the color black, I want to say it's like pound zero, all zeros, like 6 zeros. Okay. And then if it's white, it's pound all F's or all ones, right? So it's just a numerical code that attaches to a color. Okay. And you can Google, if you're looking for a particular color, you can literally just type in hex code for gold or hex code for pink or hex code for whatever. And you can find the colors. You can also just play around with it, which is what I usually do. If there's a color, and I kind of just like, I treat my creativity like I treat my cooking. If you guys have ever followed me on here or even back on Instagram, I had a cooking page and like I literally cook all the time. I love to cook and I don't necessarily use a recipe. Literally me and Holy Spirit make our own recipes a lot of the time. Or I might follow my mom's recipe. It just depends. But when I'm cooking, all that to say, when I'm cooking, and when I'm creating, I literally just play around with it until I feel like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm cooking, my seasonings, I just do it until I'm like, okay, that looks like it's enough, right? Or I think, okay, I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just I just create, right? And so in the same way, when I'm picking out colors to use for certain things, I literally just play around with it until I'm like, okay, I think I like that one. Or no, it's a little too dark. Let me go up a little bit. Maybe it's a little too light. Let me move over to the left. Maybe move over to the right. All of those things, right? So again, creativity is meant to be fun, y'all, right? Making your graphics is meant to be fun. If it feels like a burden, take a break and come back to it. All right. And so this actually leads me into my next point. So point number one was you don't need fancy software to get started. Okay, free version of Canva. All right. Number two, get in an environment that sparks your creativity. Y'all, like personally, I love to travel. Okay, I love to travel. And y'all know, if y'all been following my journey on YouTube, I moved from LA to Minnesota for a season, and I was doing a lot of hotels and Airbnbs, right, for about a month. Okay. And being in those different hotels and those different Airbnbs, my creativity was sparked because if you've ever been in a hotel lobby, and me personally, I'm luxury all the way. Okay. Like, I love the really nice experiences. You know what I'm saying? I love the upgrades, like all of those things that I don't mind paying for it. Okay. So when I'm in those experiences, like that to me sparks my creativity. When I'm in a very aesthetically pleasing room, with nice scents and smells, the colors are beautiful. They have like gold pieces of, like, I don't know, pottery or whatever, on the tables, or the pillows are like a beautiful crimson color. If it's bright and airy, like all of that stuff, that just sparks my creativity. Immediately I think of, okay, I need a picture, right? And so getting in those environments that spark your creativity. For a lot of us, we be sitting in the house, it be dark, there's no light coming in, the colors that we use are dark, right? That's not, unless that's your thing, right? But for many of us, that's not our thing, right? That's just a form or a manifestation of maybe depression or sadness or something like that, right? All of the aesthetics, right, they are representative of a mood, right, of an emotion. So that even goes into your graphics, because what mood are you trying to evoke through your graphics? What emotion are you trying to evoke through your graphics, right? We can talk about the graphics that we see in the world today. When you see the new game that KFC just partnered with, Foolish, right? When you see the graphics for a new movie that just came out, or a new show that's about to come out, when you look at those graphics, the next time you see a graphic, and what I mean by graphic is I mean a poster, a sign, a banner, that's a graphic, right? Whenever you see one of those, the next time you see one, pay attention to what it looks like. What are the colors that are they using? What emotion does it evoke from you? Does it evoke an emotion of joy and excitement? Does it evoke an emotion of like dread and fear? Does it evoke an emotion of inquisitiveness? Does it evoke an emotion of sadness, right? Colors go into that, fonts go into that, shapes go into that, all of that stuff goes into that. So when you are creating your graphics and you want it to look professional, you want to keep this in mind when you are making your graphic, right? So going back to my point, getting in an environment that sparks your creativity. Where can you go that sparks your creativity, right? Maybe you're like, Chelsea, well, I can't travel right now. Okay, you can go into a hotel lobby. That's free. That don't mean you have to check into the hotel. You don't have to stay overnight. You can literally just hang out in their lobby. A lot of hotels have a bar, right? You can just sit at the bar. You can maybe grab something to drink, grab something to eat, bring your laptop, get work done, right? That's a great way to get in an environment that sparks your creativity, right? It's somewhere different that you have not been before, right? And just looking around, again, that will spark your creativity. Or you can go to a coffee shop, not Starbucks, because I'm not a fan of Starbucks, and we not a fan over here. Okay. So you can go to a coffee shop. You can find a local coffee shop in your neighborhood. One that's not a franchise, right? Because a franchise coffee shop, everybody's gonna be there. It's gonna look the same all like at every single one. But if you go to a local coffee shop, or one of those like mom and pop type stores or restaurants, that can spark your creativity because they're going to be unique, right? They're like literal boutiques, right? They're unique to who they are, and so that's gonna spark your creativity. And you might see something like a flamingo pillow or something, and it's like, ooh, like that makes me think of tropical. So let me create a tropical graphic, right? To evoke an emotion of summertime and joy and fun, right? Rooftops. I love being on rooftops. I remember back in LA, my homegirl came to visit me, and we did rooftop bar hopping, right? So literally, we went to all of the rooftops in downtown LA, and we just went out and we enjoyed ourselves. And seeing that rooftop, right, and like as the golden hour, right, so the sun is starting to set. It's beautiful. LA weather is always nice, right? Like that sparks my creativity, right? Anywhere that I am like high up, right? Where I'm like on a plane, on a rooftop, something like that, where I can see like the horizon. Oh baby, that just does something for me. Okay, I just love that. So like I said, get in an environment that sparks your creativity, and bring your laptop, bring your notepad. If you are a person that likes to sketch, I do a lot of stuff old fashioned, if you will. So like writing stuff down, all of that. So get a notebook, right? Get a sketchbook. If you don't have a laptop, get a phone, right? Get your phone. Like get an iPad. If you have an iPad, get a pen and start drawing, and just create, right? That'll help you as you grow in your graphic making, because then you'll start to see like, okay, like it's really not that deep, right? It's meant to be fun. And then you can just practice and take your time and play around with it, right? So yeah, the third point is use templates. Do not be afraid to use templates, y'all. Okay. Especially if you're just starting out and you're learning your way, especially on Canva, they have tons of templates. Now, when you create your templates, because you want to work smarter and not harder, right? When you create your templates, you can also play around with those. You don't have to follow the mold that they set for you. Now, that's a word right there. You do not have to follow the mold that someone else has set for you, right? Yes, it's a template, but you can move that template around to fit what you are trying to create. If you guys look at the graphic that I made for this conversation, the content creation convos, that came from a template. I literally just moved some of the shapes around, changed the colors to match my branding, for my brand, for my business. And I went with that, and I added my own picture. There was another person's picture in there. I took that picture out, I added my picture, removed the background, and made it unique to me, right? So it's nothing wrong with using a template, especially if that's going to spark your creativity, spark some inspiration, right? You just have to make it unique to who you are and what you're creating. Inspiration can be an asset or a hindrance, right? So if you're using someone as an inspiration, that can be an asset or a hindrance. There could be something about that person that you admire, that you may see in yourself. But if you're using them as an inspiration, like you want to be exactly like them, that's a problem, right? So it's the same thing in your creativity. Just because you see someone else's graphic or movie flyer or whatever the case may be, and you want something just like that, it's like, nah, let me see how I can recreate that to match me and who I am. It's nothing wrong with being inspired. There's a lot of inspired content here in the world today, right? The fourth point is be consistent and keep showing up. Okay, so when I first started out making graphics back in college, I was not good at all. Okay, it looked crazy, right, to me. And that's because I had not done it before. If you guys remember, maybe a few lives back, I talked about relearning how to ride a bike, right? I learned how to ride a bike as a kid, hadn't rode a bike in several years. And now as an adult, I was like, okay, well, I want to get some exercise in. Let me ride the bike. So I had to relearn how to ride the bike. So what did that mean for me? That meant riding the bike every single day, right? To get more comfortable with it, to get more familiar with it, all of those things. It's the same way in your creativity when you're making graphics. You have to keep doing it. Be consistent, keep showing up, right? If you are creating graphics and you just like, okay, I made this for fun, let me post it on my social media, let me show people. Be consistent. Keep showing them what you're working on. If you're showing them you in the process of making your graphics, right? Keep showing that. Keep showing that process, right? So people can see as you grow, and you can see as you grow as well. And then you start to notice like, wow, I'm getting better. It's improving, right? If you think about artists, right? I think about this woman that I know. She owns a cake bakery company, right? And she makes like realistic looking cakes. Okay. Now, when she first started, baby, them cakes look like cakes, okay? They didn't look like what she was making it out to be. But now, because she's been consistent and she's kept showing up, right? Her cakes literally look like what she has created. So she recently made, like, I want to say it was like a lemon, like it looked like a cake in the shape of a lemon. So it looked like the fruit lemon, right? And she put it among some real lemons, and she had us, her audience, pick out which one was a cake. Baby, I could not tell. They all looked like real lemons to me, right? And that's just because she kept showing up, right? When you are learning to create graphics and any type of content for that matter, but here we're talking about making your graphics. When you're growing in your design skills, you have to keep showing up. You have to be consistent. You don't be afraid to keep practicing and keep working. I think about a young lady I went to high school with, and I remember when she was learning how to do makeup. At that time, like, the whole makeup guru thing was getting more popular on YouTube. And so she literally would come every day doing her eyebrows. I think I've shared this story before. Now, when she first started, you know how when you first start doing your eyebrows, like they look real dark and real thick? That's how they was looking. But by the end of the school year, they looked so natural that people literally were hiring her to do their prom makeup or their graduation makeup. I even hired her to do mine, right? That's because she kept showing up. She kept doing her makeup every single day, 365 days, right? A lot of us don't have that type of discipline and that type of consistency to become a pro, right? Making your graphics, you can literally go from being an amateur to a pro in a matter of days, weeks, months, years. It does not matter. It's just consistency, showing up, being consistent. Okay. The fifth point is price accordingly. Okay, so if you are making your graphics and you want to make this a business, right? You want to do this for other people, or you want to sell your work, you need to price accordingly. And what I mean by that is price according to the amount of time that it's taking you, the amount of resources that it's requiring of you, and the type of design that you're making, right? I meet a lot of artists who do a lot of commission work. So a commission work is when I hire an artist to make a piece specifically for me, right? Maybe it's a portrait, maybe it's an abstract piece, whatever the case is, right? I hire them, and that's a commission piece because they're making it directly, specifically for me. It's not something that they've already created that they can recreate. They're literally making it specifically for me, right? That is usually should be like a by hour rate, or something like that. But you have to, again, you have to incorporate the design itself. So if I come to you and I'm like, okay, I want you to make a picture, a graphic of my face, but I only want you to use black pencil, baby, that's gonna take a lot of work, right? Like that's gonna take a lot of intricate details to get the eyes, to get the eyebrows, all of those things, right? And so you want to price accordingly to the design, the amount of resource, and the amount of labor that is required for you. Okay. And then the last point is to revise. Okay. Editing is your BFF. Take your time. All right. If there's one thing I have learned over the years in content creation and making my graphics, baby, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back to it later, and then I'm going to come back with some fresh eyes. Okay. Because you will run yourself thin trying to get it all done in one time, and that's not, it no longer becomes fun that way. And it also is just, you have the opportunity to miss things, right? I remember growing up in school, and I would try to get my work done right then and there because I didn't want to do it later. I was just like, all of that. But what I learned is there were a lot of mistakes that I would make because I was so fast and wanting to do it so quickly that I didn't take time to revise and edit. Revisions and edits are your best friends, right? And so even in that, in your pricing, incorporating that and talking about that in your pricing, like if you're making graphics for someone, like for the client that I worked with, where I made the $200 for them, they had a few edits that they wanted made. And so in that, that was incorporated in the pricing and everything like that. So yeah, revise. Editing is your BFF. Take your time. If you're feeling that you're frustrated, or, something is not working, or you're not sure what's off with your graphic, take a break, go do something else, clear your mind, and then come back to it with fresh eyes after a while. Okay. So yeah, that is it for tonight's live. I do want to encourage you all, if you found this live to be helpful, then go ahead and click the link in the description box of this video to join the Zion Studios creative community. This community is meant for creatives to grow in our faith and in our craft together. I'm a huge and firm believer of community. Community has helped me in some of the most insurmountable times of my life. And so I'm thankful for my community. My community has helped me to become the woman and the business owner that I am today. And so I really am big on community. And I think when we are surrounded by like-minded individuals in a community, that sparks our creativity. That allows us to be held accountable, right? And all of those things. And so if you are creative and you're looking to grow in your faith and in your craft and you're looking for community of like-minded individuals, then I want you to be a part of my community, which is Design Studios Creative Community. So you'll click the link down below, and you'll register. It is a subscription-based community, so you can choose whichever plan works for you. And I look forward to seeing you in the community. We do have some digital products, some online programming, some community building activities, some in-person events. And so I'm super excited to have you in the community. So again, click the link below, join the community. I'm super excited. And thank you all so much for tuning into this video. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.